Hey Clayton, my name is Maddox Vic. My wife and I, we own a condo here in San Diego, and we owe about, let's say, 440 on it. And we thought that these condos would be selling around 700. I just pulled comps on it, and we saw two of our exact models sell for $800,000. And so now the question that we have is, do we sell and take profits? We wouldn't have to pay any capital gains on it and just put that money in the bank and use that to buy income properties. Or since we are trying to build a rental income portfolio, should we pull equity out of the property and so basically keep the property and then use that equity to invest in other properties and so forth. And so that's the question that we're struggling with now. Um,
Yeah.
and then, do we pull that in the form of a home equity line of credit or something like that and use that as down payment money? All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maddox, for the question. Okay, one thing though I'm not clear about because you didn't tell me in your question is whether or not you're living in the property. It sounds like you are. It sounds like it's your primary place, primary residence. It seems that way. I could be wrong. I'm going to go with that assumption because it's California. Hopefully, because in California, I would never buy a rental property. Like California, it is the worst place in the country to invest in real estate. Okay, from a single family or even a duplex, no way. The numbers just are way out of whack. You're going to pay way too much, and the return on investment will not be there. Plus, it's not a landlord-friendly state. So the list goes on and on and on for reasons why I would never invest in California. I think most of our clients at Morris Invest that we work with that buy one of our new construction rental properties in Texas and some of our other locations, most of them are from California. If I have a wager to say, like 70 or 80% of our clients are from California for that very reason. So chances are you probably own the property in San Diego. You're living in this condo. Great. Now you're seeing those comps. I would say, look, there's a lot that you need to take into consideration here, right? And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do with your money, right? I can tell you what I would consider doing. But let's say I'm living in San Diego and I'm looking at the current market and I'm saying, wow, this real estate market is on fire. And if I could absolutely sell this property right now, my wife and I, we're planning on moving. Great. If we're planning on moving, then strike while the iron's hot. Take this $800,000 comp, run to the bank, get that money, right? No capital gains. You've lived there for over 2 years. Boom, right? This is a huge chunk of change you could put right into additional income properties. One thing you may want to consider doing, of course, is talking to, depending on how you have this house structured, you want to consider maybe looking into a 1031 exchange. Again, I'm not sure if you own the property, primary residence or not, or if it's a rental yet, but you may want to consider a 1031 exchange. But because of the capital gains issue, you might not have to worry about that. So I would definitely consult with a 1031 exchange expert if it's worth doing that so you don't have to deal with any of the taxes. But as you mentioned, you're good to go on that, the capital gains side, so maybe we don't need to worry about that. But personally, I mean, if I was going to move and I didn't want to live in this condo anymore, then absolutely I would take that money. And if I had 800, like, let me just do the math on that. Like if I had $800,000, and if like a down payment on, as I always say, one of our rental properties at Morris Invest is around 45,000, right? For a brand new construction, the best school district rental property with a tenant already in place, cash flowing. So 50,000, think about that. Taking 800,000, dividing that up by that amount of down payments, you could easily pick up 5, 6, 7 rental properties with that money. Again, depending on where you plan to move and live and if you're going to buy and rent, again, all of these things are subjective, right? But having said that, if you're thinking of holding on to this property and turning it into a rental property in California, that's where I would definitely caution you against doing that, because the ROI is just never going to be there. You have an opportunity to get a cash chunk of $800,000 or more right now. That's phenomenal. The ROI from a tenant in that property there's no way There's absolutely no way that the cash flow from that property and the ROI is going to make sense. I'm just telling you right now that the return on that investment is not going to be there. Even at 400,000, my limit for paying for single family homes, my numbers on single family homes, like, you do not go start spending like 400,000. That's where you're just, the return on investment is not going to be there. So I think I would consider that, Maddox, that talk to a realtor as long as you have a game plan of where you're planning to move, and you're not going to be living in this property. You can save some money with a rental. I would caution you against like buying a property in California. The numbers just do not make sense. It is just such a state that is so incredibly out of whack from an ROI perspective, that you're very often much better off renting a property than buying a property in California. That way you're not having to pay the taxes and the upkeep and everything else that comes with a primary residence purchase. So yes, sink that money into some rental properties. That would be my suggestion. All right. Thank you, Maddox, for that. And boy, good luck, man. I think that's exciting. I think that's really exciting. If you'd like to ask us a question, you can just go to Morris Invest, our website, morrisinvest.com. And leave us a voicemail question. We'll be happy to answer it for you. So thank you so much for your kind words and your time today. And go out there, take action, become a real estate investor. I believe it's the number one way to create wealth and to preserve wealth. We'll see you next time.